Hello everyone, this is the instruction video for the camera bookmarks and prototype asset for Unity, and I'm Christian Borg from Borg System or Borgsys. If you want a quick introduction to what this asset does, please check out the introduction video. And if you want a faster read through instead, just check out the PDF manual. In this video I'm going to go through most of the details together with some examples of why I created it for my own use. The main reason was of course to move fast and easy to different positions in the scene with exact positioning, but also to create a basic game view control to check out interactions and animations. And I wanted a very simple setup to get started quickly. So Camera Bookmarks is for anyone who's building worlds, creating scenes and prototyping. All source code is available if you need to adapt it to your own project. The main tool is Camera Bookmarks. It makes use of the align view with object features already found in the Unity editor. If you select a game object in the hierarchy, you can press F to focus on it, but that gives you a different view depending on your scene view at the time. So if I select this dice here, and let's go to another position, press F, I go here, press F. So we get a different view depending on where we are at the time. So I found it very annoying when I was creating details or working on canvases to move into a specific position. So you can use the align view to select it to be more precise. I have created this watch dice object. You can see it here. And we go to game object, align view to selected, and we get a more precise positioning. But it felt like a hassle to maintain many of those objects. So this asset is meant to make it easier and add some features to that. The second tool is the camera prototype script, a simple free-flying camera with the ability to follow moving objects. I use this to check out how objects move or interact with, for example, different animations or animation rigging constraints. It's integrated with camera bookmarks, which makes it very useful. There is also the SimpleWaypointMover script so that you can try out the follow feature, and if you want to follow along to create a demo scene just like this video. As I said, I use this to get started quickly with prototyping. There are a lot more advanced controllers available on the asset store, and Unity even has their own first and third person controllers for free. You also have Cinemachine for controlling the camera and follow objects for your final product. So let's set up camera bookmarks for a scene. We've already imported the asset, so we go to the menu, Tools, Borgsys, Camera Bookmarks, and Show Camera Bookmarks Editor. This opens up the Camera Bookmarks Editor window, also named Cam Bookmarks window. When the Camera Bookmarks Editor or Cam Bookmarks window is showing, it will check the scene for a Camera Bookmarks Manager. If not found, you will get the question to add it to the scene. So we click Add, and we can also find the Camera Bookmarks Manager in the hierarchy. So Camera Bookmarks Manager here. I actually place this Cam Bookmarks window differently depending on what I'm doing at the time. So let's put it next to the inspector here for now. If you switch between a lot of scenes that doesn't use the camera bookmarks and you don't want to close the Cam Bookmarks window every time, you can choose No, Don't Ask Me Again. And the question won't pop up anymore that session unless you click Show Camera Bookmarks Editor again. But you can add Camera Bookmarks Manager manually to a scene from the Tools menu if needed. So Tools, Borgsys, Camera Bookmarks, add Camera Bookmarks Manager manually. Now let's add, update and use some bookmarks in the scene view. It's pretty much the same as the introduction video. We just place the camera where we want the bookmark. We go to the Cam Bookmarks window. We type in a unique name, green ball, and click Add Update. The bookmarks will end up here. So I'm going to create some and speed up the video. So now we have a couple of bookmarks, and we can just click to quickly jump to that position. So let's look at the settings for bookmarks here. Name has to be a unique name for the bookmark. Prior group or priority group is used for grouping bookmark buttons both in scene view as well as in game view. The bookmark key is for using bookmark shortcut key after pressing the main shortcut key when in game view. Follow this game object adds a game object to follow in game view if you are using the camera prototype. Follow rotation if camera also should follow the object's rotation. Look at only if you only want to look at or track the object from the bookmark position. And select only for selecting follow object in scene view but not following in game view. It also overrides the general auto select option. We'll look at the auto select option later on, but what it does is automatically selecting the follow object in scene view so you can see its properties in the inspector. The select only option here makes sure the follow option, object is always selected in scene view regardless of the auto select option, but it also disables follow object in game view. Sometimes when I work on certain objects for the time or parts of the world, it's nice to have a bookmark that also selects that object you are going to work on. I usually put the Can Bookmarks window next to the hierarchy when I use that feature, or free floating on another screen. So to update a bookmark, just make sure the unique name is correct and press update. You can see if we press a bookmark button, the name and settings shows in the editor window, so it's easy to update. So let's go to overview. I'm going to change the priority to, and I'm going to create a bookmark key, shortcut key for game view 1. And then I have to press add update. And we see the changes immediately. Follow dice from above. We want to follow this dice. So I go to the hierarchy, dice to follow, and I plop it into follow this game object here, dice to follow. Let's create priority group 1. Bookmark key 2. Press add update. And then I select follow dice from behind. Priority group 1. Bookmark key 3. I drag and drop dice to follow into follow this game object. Plop it into here. Follow rotation, yes. And then don't forget to press add update so we can see the updates here. And let's create some more look at dice only. So let's clear and call this look at dice. Priority group 1 and look at only here. Add updates. And the last one, work on dice. Work on dice, priority group 2, and select only, add update. So I can now press follow dice from above, and you can see that the dice object is now selected because I've got the auto select option enabled. So in the inspector we can see the dice object is selected, as well as in the hierarchy here. So the nice thing about this is that it also opens up the hierarchy on that object, if that's what you're after. Now, if I want to change or delete a bookmark, I have to go to the Camera Bookmarks Manager here. And if I check the child objects, these are my bookmarks. So if I want to delete the red ball bookmark, I just select red ball bookmark here and I press the delete button. So we can see that red ball disappears from our Cam Bookmarks window. I could actually change a lot of things right here. If I select green ball and go to the inspector, we can see that this object has the camera bookmark script and the priority group, and all my game view settings are here. So I could edit it here if I want to, or rename the bookmark here if I want to. But most things are easily done from the Cam Bookmarks window. So usually only when we need to change a name or delete a bookmark, we need to go to these objects. So let's look at the Camera Bookmarks Manager. Every scene using Camera Bookmarks needs a Camera Bookmarks Manager. So we find it in the hierarchy and select it to find the settings. So in the inspector, we can find the settings. And most of these are pretty straightforward, I think. Show bookmarks A to Z sorts the bookmarks by their name. If I deselect this one and go to Cam Bookmarks, we can see that it still has the priority group, but it's no longer sorting it in alphabetical order. So let's go back to the inspector and deselect group bookmarked by priority, which groups them by their priority group. So the camera bookmarks can show in the order they are added as child game objects to the Camera Bookmarks Manager, and you can reorder them manually if you want to, right here. So we can see green ball, cubes, doors, green ball, cubes, doors, and if I move work on dice to the top, we can see that work on dice moves to the top. But I usually use the setting to sort A to Z and group them by priority. So we have buttons per row. Right now we have one button per row, but we can change it to 2 buttons here, for example. So we have 2 columns. Straighten columns is for straight columns. Otherwise it tries to check out the bookmark name length. So if you have a very small window, perhaps you want to use that. I usually like to straighten the columns. Show shortcut key in name. We can see 2, 3, 1, the shortcut keys. And last but not least, auto select follow objects. If we have a bookmark where we have an object here in follow this game object, it will be selected automatically in game view if we have either auto select follow objects or select only overrides this general auto select follow objects setting. So with auto select you can try out what fits you the best. This is actually something I change from time to time depending on what I'm doing and how I've set up my bookmarks in the scene. Now let's look at the camera prototype. Here we add the camera you want to use for bookmarks in game view. The camera needs to have the camera prototype script for the follow object features. And main camera to disable if you have a situation where you want to use a main camera when testing your game but switch to the camera prototype when using bookmarks. You add your main camera object here, and with shortcuts B and then C you can toggle enable disable between 2 cameras. Game object to deactivate is for when you also need to deactivate a certain object when switching to the camera prototype. Perhaps you need to disable some player object, for example. We're gonna just plop the main camera into the camera prototype setting here. We'll explore the other options later. So game view settings for bookmarks menu. We have the main shortcut key. We press the main shortcut key first in game view. That is B, standard setting. and then we press bookmark key after that. We have to do that within 3 seconds for it to work. So game use control, if we want to use control B. Game window position, X, Y is top left. Game window size, width, height, where X is the width and Y is the height. And then we have the same as in scene view. We have bookmarks sort from A to Z. We have group bookmarks, my priority group, buttons per row, straighten columns, show shortcut in name. And lastly here we have also move scene camera. If you also want to move the scene camera at the same time while in game view. So if you want the scene camera to end up at the last bookmark you used when in game, I usually use this when I want to see where it all went wrong in some kind of interaction. So let's play. And I can press B and then 0 to get the bookmarks menu, and I can press overview. I can press cubes, doors, and I can also press B and 0 to close. We have B and 1. If I press B and then 1, we have the shortcut for overview, so we can also use the shortcuts. B and 2 and B and 3. Now we don't have the camera prototype, so we cannot yet follow this object. So let's stop this. Now if we want to remove Camera Bookmarks Manager from the scene, we just go to the hierarchy and press delete. I won't do that now though, so let's set up the prototype camera instead. So you'll find the script in the asset folder, Borgsys, prototyping, camera prototype, scripts, and camera prototype here. This can be used independently, but its follow feature is also used by camera bookmarks. The free-flying camera uses similar controls as the scene camera, that is WASD QE. You could add the script to your existing camera or add a new camera, and we'll add a new one. So I go to the hierarchy, right click, camera. Let's call this prototype camera. Prototype camera. And we just take the camera prototype script and plop it onto the prototype camera. And that's it. We'll disable the main camera and use the prototype camera for now separately from the camera bookmarks tool. So main camera, disable. So let's use the prototype camera here. I'll reset the positioning here. So free flying camera, uncheck if you don't want to use the free flying camera controller. This may be the case when you want the camera prototype for the follow object features with bookmarks, but want to use your own controller. Be aware though that they may not play that well together without any adaptation. Move speed is just the camera speed. Look speed is really the mouse sensitivity. Super speed factor multiplies with camera speed while pressing shift. Ludicrous speed factor multiplies with the camera speed while pressing control, and we all know what happens if we press both at the same time. Also move scene camera is for moving the scene camera to the same position as the camera prototype in game view. So let's tick this and just remember where the scene camera is right now. Let's press play. So I can go up here. Like this. And I stop. And I go to scene view. And we have also moved the scene camera. So let's go back. here are the settings for following an object that is used by camera bookmarks as well. So follow this object. Let's plop this dice to follow object here. Look at object, yeah, we want to look at object usually. Follow movement, yeah, we want to follow movement. Follow rotation, if we want to follow the object's rotation as well. And we can also follow with scene camera to let the scene camera follow along at the same time. And deactivate following if we don't want to use the follow feature right now, but still wants to have an object here in follow this object. So let's move this prototype camera a bit. We have it here right now, but let's position it a little bit differently. So now we have positioned the prototype camera, and it will always follow the dice to follow object from this view and with rotation. So let's press play. And we can always break from this just by pressing any of the movement keys. So I can just go backwards, and now we're not following anymore, but of course I can click deactivate following, so I can uncheck this and we are following again with rotation. So you can test a bunch of things here while you're in game view. So let's use bookmarks in game view with these added features. If we want to use all the features of camera bookmarks, we need to use the camera prototype. So let's go to camera bookmarks manager and plop the prototype camera into camera prototype here. So now we're ready to use the following feature, the follow features and the extended shortcuts. But let's say we normally want to use the main camera in game view and don't want to enable and disable cameras manually. So I have the main camera here. Let's enable it or activate it. Then we can go to camera bookmarks manager and add the main camera here. Then when we use the main camera to disable feature, we plop the main camera here, and you will be able to switch between the two with the shortcut B and then C, and the camera component will be enabled or disabled for those two objects. There is also the option to deactivate another game object when switching camera if needed. Perhaps if some feature or input should be deactivated when using bookmarks. So you can put a game object to deactivate here. Let's put this green sphere here, just items, general here. So we have something to check out. So we use B and then C to switch to the camera prototype. B, C, back to main camera. And if I press B and then 0, I enable the menu, and I can press overview to get overview. I can press follow dice from above, and it follows. Follow dice from behind with rotation here. Or just look at dice if we just want to look at it. Or work on dice down here. Now let's look at dice. It doesn't look at all. Let's check this out. Stop. We go to the scene view, the cam bookmarks window, look at dice. Yeah, I didn't add the dice here, so I plop dice to follow into follow this game object. Press add update. Let's play again. B0, look at dice. Yep, now it's working. So we have B and then C to toggle between cameras if available. We have B and then 0 to show or hide the bookmarks editor window. We also have B and then F to deactivate or activate following objects. B, F, B, F. We have B and then L to start or stop looking at object, B and then M to start or stop follow movement, and B and then R to start or stop follow rotation. And this is for the prototype camera, of course. And otherwise B and then your in-game shortcut key for camera bookmarks. So let's stop that. So now we've gone through all the features of camera bookmarks and prototype. And even though this video is long, once you get comfortable with the asset, the setup shouldn't take more than a minute or so. So let's look at the extra script for those of you who are getting started, so you can set up a simple demo scene as this. The SimpleWaypointMover. Let's go to BorgSys, prototyping, camera prototyping scripts, and you can find the SimpleWaypointMover script right here. So let's use this orb. We have this orb to follow. Go to the inspector, and we just plop the script onto orb to follow. It doesn't use any AI, or so no fancy stuff like collisions avoidance or path tracing, but enough to try out the follow object features in camera bookmarks and prototype. And the settings here are forward speed, just how fast the object moves, rotation speed, how fast the object turns, and waypoint. You need at least 2 waypoints, but you can set as many as you like. So we have the elements. I'm going to use 3 elements here, or objects, and I'm going to use these waypoints that I've set up earlier. Usually they are empty game objects, but I've set up some spheres here, so I just take, so let's go to this orb to follow, and I'm going to drag sphere 1 here, sphere 2, and sphere last one here. Waypoint pause in seconds if you want to pause at a waypoint. Waypoint reach range needs to be, well, you need some range here since you won't read the actual waypoint exactly, so I use 0.2. Stop at last waypoint if you want to stop after reaching the last waypoint, otherwise it will continue in a loop. And do move if you temporarily want to stop the object to stop, you can just uncheck do move, the do move box. So that's it pretty much. Let's press play. B and C, I want to use the prototype camera, and we can see this orb moving, and we can add bookmarks and follow feature to it if we want. So the dice uses the same script as this orb. And that's it. Thank you for watching, and have fun prototyping.